One of the things I love about the Sonic games in between the 2000s, like in mid 2000s, is the CGI cutscenes, and they got rid of that,
I hate how
unfortunately. Yeah, I hate that too. They were so ahead of their time as well. I mean, even in Shadow the Hedgehog, like in 2005, it looked like a game that would like come out in 2010 or something.
as much as I don't like Shadow as a game, the intro cutscene is epic as hell.
Yeah. And it almost looks like like a Pixar, and you know that Werehog Night of the Werehog short is one of the most beautiful animations I've seen, and that was just so well animated.
I love that so much. I wish they make a movie in that style. I don't. Well, they're making a
movie with like Alvin the Chipmunks kind of style, where it's like humans and CGI puppets thing.
I don't know how the Sonic movie is gonna be, but I kind of have my doubts. But I kind of want to stay optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the sound of that. That there's gonna be like real people in it, but at the same time, it means that they might go back to the Sonic Adventure style, where there was like this realistic city with Sonic characters kind of like thrown in, and
I can kind of see that working, yeah.
yeah, but that's how it worked in the Sonic Adventure games in Sonic 06, and it worked pretty well, at least for me, with that style. So I hope they do it like that at least, but I just don't see it working if there are actual real live actors in those scenes.
Yeah.
Not only will it look fake, but it will look stupid as hell.
It's like you have Sonic going, "Hey, Sonic's name, speaks my game," and just like have all these random
celebrities.
Yeah. I just hope they don't go the same route as the Sonic fan film did.
Oh shit, that was horrible. Even though it has some pretty cool cameos in it, though.
Yeah, I just don't want them to go that route, because if they do, it would not. The game would not game. The movie would not turn out well, in my opinion.
But as for a fan film, it was pretty good. But the only thing I didn't like was that they didn't even finish the movie. It was only like the 18 minutes beginning of the film. It didn't have an ending. It didn't even have a middle. It was just the beginning.
Yeah, my main problem with that is like Eddie LeBron, the creator, hyped the movie up to be so much, but like
it's just an 8-minute intro for what could have been.
Pretty much. I was expecting like how Eggman and Sonic met and how their rivalry came to be and all that, but we got none of that.
Yeah.
It was just like a good, no, I don't know, 5-10 minutes of a bunch of cameos, and we didn't get Sonic until like halfway, or even more so.
Yeah, but I like how they built up the appearances of the characters. I actually like that movie as a fan film. The only thing I really don't like is the overuse of CGI and how Sonic looks.
Yeah, I don't know why he couldn't just stick with the design from the games, because apparently he put a lot of effort into how his quills are and just his design in general, but I just don't see what's the whole point in that.
No, you could have just made the floppy bananas type of thing, because that looks much better, in my opinion.
Yeah, just his design from Unleashed onwards, just that's the perfect way for Sonic to be designed, in my opinion. So I think,
at least in 3D.
Yeah, 2D can be argued, but
yeah, I prefer it like in general. I think it looks amazing.
Yeah, and I don't know if people still go on about this, but the whole like modern Sonic Green Eyes being in Sonic 4, I honestly hate it when people do things like that.
I don't think anyone cares now, honestly. I mean, it was a big debate a few years back, but now, I mean, people barely talk about Sonic nowadays. I mean, he's just completely irrelevant. The only people who play Sonic games nowadays are unfortunately only the fans. It's nothing. I mean, I aside from friends of mine who are actual Sonic fans, the people around me have never even heard of Sonic nowadays.
Wow.
They've maybe seen a picture of him, or maybe, and obviously they have heard of him, but they just haven't had any kind of experience with him whatsoever. It's kind of weird, but he's like, he's beginning to become the next Mega Man, if you know what I mean.
I can kind of see that, yeah, but I don't know what Sega would do if they completely got rid of Sonic, because they don't really have much else.
They wouldn't. They'll keep making Sonic games until they run out of money, in which that case they either die or they get bought out by Nintendo, which I can imagine they do that.
Yeah.
Because I hope Nintendo buys Capcom now so we can get a Mega Man game, a Street Fighter game, and a Dead Rising game on Nintendo consoles.
That'll be very beneficial to them as well, because they'll have a lot more exclusives on their hands.
Yeah, just imagine Resident Evil 7 exclusively on the Wii U. That's like a much bigger deal than Bayonetta 2, which Nintendo are, of course, hyping the shit out of for that exact reason. But if Resident Evil 7 was like a Wii U exclusive, that would be like the biggest thing ever. Even though Resident Evil games nowadays arguably suck, but it's still Resident Evil. It's still a legendary franchise.
I find it funny how when Conker's Bad Fur Day was released, they didn't even acknowledge the game because of how kid-friendly Nintendo is. But now but Bayonetta 2 is like really like mature and serious, and they're just
I wouldn't say serious.
Huh?
Bayonetta is like the most ridiculous game ever. So.
Yeah, but I just find it how that game is a lot more mature than how Nintendo usually is with games.
Yeah.
And they're like promoting the crap out of that game, but they don't even talk about Conker's Bad Fur Day whatsoever.
Well, Conker's Bad Fur Day has this Western satirical humor, while Bayonetta is pretty much just... The only thing that makes Bayonetta mature is the sexualization and the violence. Aside from that, it's very Nintendo-ish. If you just take away that, the enemies, the worlds, the story, it's all very just ridiculous, cartoony bullshit.
I guess so, yeah, that makes sense.
But Conker is like this Hollywood parody thing where they make fun of the Matrix and they have like the main character get drunk. Things like that doesn't happen in Bayonetta. It's more like I think it has to do with that Conker's Bad Fur Day was made by British people, while Bayonetta is obviously Japanese. I mean, it's the most Japanese game ever.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that.
So I think Nintendo even though it's more mature, it's still than Nintendo are usually comfortable with. I think they feel a lot more at home with Bayonetta than they do with Conker.
Yeah, that's true. Because, I hear from a lot of people that Conker, the game in general, the level design isn't its strong point. It's like the cutscenes and like the characters that make it what it is, you know.
Yeah, and Conker was more or less like some kind of critique on the video game industry at that time, and he's not really irrelevant anymore either. But that's another topic. So Bayonetta is not any kind of critique. It just has mature themes. That's the only thing, really.
Yeah, that's true.
And Nintendo are like the company that would never produce anything that has anything to do with social commentary or political critique. They're like the farthest away from that possible. They keep it as non-controversial as possible. So that's why I think Bayonetta is a lot more isn't as bad as, for example, Conker when it comes to Nintendo's comfort zone.
I find it funny how originally Conker was gonna be like a game like Banjo-Kazooie, but when the developers saw the other team's game, it was just like, oh crap, their game's better than ours. Let's make some major changes. Because the way Rare made games back then, they didn't care about what the other companies were doing. They were looking at their own teams and just trying to best each other, really.
Yeah, but so they were like competing with each other in the teams, while the place they made Perfect Dark, and then the other made Conquer, and then they saw that that game looked much better, so they just tried to make the most unexpected thing in the world. Is it like that or something?
Well, pretty kind of like that, yeah. Because the guys who made Conquer saw how the team that were making Banjo were doing. They just made it completely different from what people would expect. Because
oh yeah, then I see what you mean.
Yeah, because Conquer originally was going to be like a really family-oriented series.
Yeah, I've seen it. They made like this one cartoony Game Boy game, and then they made like this big one that was supposed to be equally cartoony, but then they said, in the words of Game Dude when he explained the story of that, fuck that shit, they said, we're making the most ridiculous game ever. And nobody's gonna stop us because we're Rare. And you
Pretty
know,
much.
Yeah, and it turned out really successful. But I think Nintendo themselves were a bit ashamed of publishing that game because it's so out of their comfort zone.
They didn't even want to advertise it.
Yeah, like you said, and that's probably the reason.
Yeah. I can kind of see why, because they're really not used to things like that, and I can just imagine them when they need to advertise it just going like, I don't want to do this.
No, but it's also hard to advertise games that are that provide insight into society and stuff. It's when it's not as because Conquer wasn't really a commercial game at all, so things that aren't commercial are always hard to market because it strains away from the whole point of the thing. But if you're not marketing your game, it's not going to sell. So it's kind of a conflict between artistic integrity and money.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people have been Let's Playing Conquer recently, and that's part of the reason why it's so popular now.
Yeah, but it's probably because of that troll announcement at Microsoft. People are starting to, like, they feel that they kind of have to get their Conquer fix now again because they were so disappointed.
I can kind of see that. But they, even then, before that, there was a ton of Conquer LPs.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, rare games are really fun to, LP.
Yeah. Which I really want Microsoft to use Rare's game franchises, because
gay. Did you just say gay game franchises? You kind of like interrupted the word. Yeah, but just go on.
I really want them to Microsoft to use their franchises, because if they did, the Xbox One has the potential to be a really good system if they did that.
Well, it already has the potential now that it has so many great games, but I think Rare would really add to that. But now that the Kinect has been discontinued pretty much, and Microsoft has said that they are going to continue to support Rare now that the Kinect is gone. So I think that it's possible that we might get to see some games, because, I mean, even if it wasn't made by Rare, Killer Instinct was brought back in.
Yes.
And that got pretty good reviews despite being a horrible DLC thing.
Yeah. If they brought their franchises back, a lot more of them, giving them more sequels and whatnot, they would get a lot more attention, I feel.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people don't even know Rare still exists because their logo is so different now.
Yeah, and it would bring in new audiences as well, to go like people who have never seen Conquer, Banjo, Perfect Dark, etc. Just be like, oh, this is interesting, and then they get into it,
Yeah. But I think the first priority now is to make a true Banjo 3.
Yeah, I don't want them to consider Nuts and Bolts canon, because at the moment it is, but I just want them to retcon it, because it's not a true sequel.
Yeah, and the universe doesn't make sense. It feels like some Viva Pinata bullshit.
Yeah.
And I heard that game is pretty good, by the way, so not pissing on that game, but I think that it doesn't fit with the Banjo-Kazooie thing.
I have never played Viva Pinata myself, but I believe my brother has played some of it, and from what he tells me, it's actually kind of fun.
Yeah, I know a couple people who really like that game.
Yeah.
Back when Microsoft had exclusives for the 360.
If they may like have had nuts and bolts as its like own IP and just didn't have Banjo in it at all, it would have gotten a lot better reception, I feel.
Yeah.
Because as it is, if you just play it as for what it is, it's actually not that bad of a game.
Well, I still think it's pretty clunky, but I see what you mean.
Yeah, it's kind of clunky, but from what I've played, it's good enough for its own thing.
Yeah.
So if they just didn't advertise it as like Banjo Free, then I would have liked it a lot more.
Yeah, because the beginning of the game really just tell you that this is the big comeback for Banjo and Kazooie.
Yeah, and what also ticks me off more about that is because they had a teaser for the next Banjo game, making you think it was going to be like a really awesome platformer again, and then they just bring in this whole vehicles crap.
Yeah.
It's like false advertising for the win.
Yeah, one of the things that these crappy games do provide is some really awesome Game Dude videos, though.
What happened to Game Dude, actually? Because I don't see any videos from him anymore.
He made one last video back in 2013 on Ratchet & Clank Size Matters, and that was the last we saw of him.
Oh.
And I really haven't heard of him. He was kind of subjected to this cyberbullying thing, and he became like this internet joke, and I think he kind of went a little nuts. So we haven't heard from him since. There was like sorry, but there was like this a fake account that kept spreading around, and everyone thought it was him, and he kept doing stupider and stupider things on that account. So yeah, that's what happens. But yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that sucks. But I was just gonna ask, what are your thoughts on the boss fights in Origins? Because honestly, I'm not a big fan of them, I'll be honest.
I can't even remember them. This boss fight looks pretty awesome, though. I gotta admit, this boss fight looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, this one's pretty cool, but in general, I'm not a big fan of the boss fights in Origins because they feel more like, oh, you had to hit the weak spot, and then I don't know, it feels too forced at some points. This one's actually quite cool, I think, but yeah, just in general, they're not that exciting.
Yeah, but if there's, I mean, I don't remember that much from Rayman Origins, but one of the things I just can't come up with, what was that? You know, it was the boss battles. I can't remember a single boss battle from Rayman Origins.
Yeah, I'm glad that they in Legends they make the bosses a lot more exciting, in my opinion.
I can see that.
Yeah. This is actually kind of hard.
Yeah, I see you've been dying on that one a lot.
Okay. Well, I think this should be the last hit.
Oh,
wow.
You have to, like, hit it inside the mouth?
Yeah.
That seems really, 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 really hard. I wouldn't be able to do that. Is there like an easy mode in this game?
No.
Oh crap! I'm not buying this.
You just pretty much have to play it how it is.
Yeah, well, that's all right. But I don't have much patience for hard games anymore.
I just like it when games gradually get harder. Like, let the player adjust to it.
Yeah.
So it feels more natural.
Yeah, but I've been playing so many games where the game is just the same difficulty for the entire game. Oh yeah, shit, you did it. Awesome.
There you go. Yeah, I like how in or the second half of Origins you fight these really messed up bosses, and they just turn out to be some like really cute thing afterwards.
Yeah. But when are we going to wrap this up? How long are these parts really?
Well, I usually split them up in parts. This is how long have we been recording for?
A little more than an hour, I think.
Yeah, I usually split it up in about 2 to 3 parts.
Yeah, all right. But I think we should wrap this up soon. So.
Yeah, I'm just doing the scratch lucky tickets because every time you beat a level, you can get a lucky ticket, and whenever you finish a world, you get 5.
Yeah.
And it's just like little. It's just like a little extra feature, I guess, that they added.
Hmm. But yeah, how about we just wrap this up because I'm getting kind of tired.
Alright. So, well, do you have anything else to say before we sign off? Like, plug anything?
Not really, but not in this video, but I just gotta ask you something afterwards.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, do you want to say anything about your channel?
Yeah, check out QuickQuackReviews on YouTube. I make reviews and top 10 lists.
And he's also part of C-SPAN commentaries.
That too,
So.
but I barely do anything on that channel, which is kind of I'm kind of ashamed of at times. I wish I was more active on that channel.
Yeah, but that's a completely different topic. But
yeah.
Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the Seal Serendipity, and I'll see you guys next time for the final world of Back to Origins Mystical Pike. I'll see you all then. So,
yeah,
that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah,
Peace.
bye. Yes.